Welcome to Wanna Bet, the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now.
So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Så det kostar kärlek, konstigt, därför konstigt felina. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Hey there. Welcome to Wanna Bet. I'm Jason. That's Ben. We are Wanna Bet. This is the only daily sports wagering game show that we know in existence where we keep score. Yes, we track every bet that we make on this show and how we're doing. And we let you know when we're hot, when we're not, what we're doing well in. We try to prevent each other from stepping in potholes from time to time. And hopefully we're building a smart gambling community here. That's certainly our goal. Again, if you're new to the show, rundown's pretty much the same every day. First, second, third down. 3 favorite bets that Ben and I have made since yesterday's show. There is always a show yesterday because we do this 7 days a week. Fourth and long is really fourth and whatever. A lot of times it's fourth and short because we want to get you guys paid quickly in some of these games without having to stay up all night to watch them. So, but then sometimes they're long shot bets or they're long-term bets like futures. Overtime, football parlay a day, baby. It's football season. That's what we do. As I mentioned, we hold each other accountable. Beltway Ben, how did last night go? Look, man, I know my Brew Crew lost and Quinny P struggled, but damn if they still didn't battle back and have that game for the taking, Beltway Ben. And when Churio hits that leadoff double, I'm thinking at worst case we're going extra innings here. They're gonna tie this up. The Cubs Quinny P was off. It was not great. Cubs got those runs early, but then they kind of look like the dormant Cubs bats that we've been seeing. So I still think my Brew Crew are going to win that series. They made so many plays to keep that game as close as it is. I just have so much respect for how they play. But I'm going to shut up because you crushed it.
Yeah, Tyone cleared his outs, and I got a little sweaty late, but if they make the regular play in the first inning, we wouldn't have to deal with that. But whatever, he still cashed his outs. We got the 4 innings, and you paid a little bit of juice for it, but I felt good. Mookie Betts smokes a triple in the first inning. For sure, he's going to cash. He doesn't there, and then I'm starting to sweat because usually when you get a guy to third with 1 out, I know how those hits run RBI props go. He ends up banging a single to cash us that. And then Vladdy Judge walked the first 2 or 3 at bats.
I'm so close to tailing that, brother. I should have.
I know you acknowledge it.
I was licking my chops, but didn't get home.
But that basically paid for our 2 Yankees futures because we did lose 2 units on the Yankees. We had them to win the AL. Right. And we had them to win the World Series a while ago. So that basically covered that. We also, we were giving out so many futures. I also have the Tigers to win the AL. So I don't hate that right now. I don't like it. I don't love it, but they have a shot. So hopefully they can do it. But yeah, the Judge and Vladdy walk, it was actually profitable because we lost 2 units, but gained 0.3 there with those offsetting. And then Tyone and Mookie. So we finished up a little bit over 2 units. The walk prop, though, I didn't feel good after the first 2 at-bats. And then after that, Vladdy got his walk after a big hit from Luke's, and then Judge walked twice.
Yeah, it was fun watching the Yankees lose. I'm sorry about the futures bets, but just in the real world, that was fun. Speaking of in the real world, whenever Ben and I make a bet, we register it in the Super Discord. We go right into that Discord. There's a place for daily picks. We tell you what we bet, how many units, why we bet it, where we bet it, at what price. We're available to answer questions, help you guys out. Eric Casilius, our partner in the Discord, is a fantasy football maven. He's helping people set their rosters every week. We're doing everything we can to make people money. It's going very well. You scan that QR code, you can find out different ways to be involved in the Super Discord. One other thing about last night, maybe the Phillies are alive. Beltway Ben, maybe the Phillies are alive. I don't feel great about it, but I also didn't think they'd still be playing baseball at the Chavez Ravine tonight. So we'll see about that one.
How about Suarez?
Suarez was great. How about Dave Roberts with Kershaw? What was that?
That was ugly. That was
man.
Hideous. How about the ball that Schwarber hit? That is one of the furthest balls I've seen live. And I know Shohei's hit a couple there.
Yeah.
But that ball was I couldn't believe it. I can given what he does, but
quick hook. Yamamoto. It's interesting if the top of the Phillies order starts hitting just a little bit. Maybe that is a series after all. All right, Beltway Ben, let's give the people what they want. First down.
Yeah, first down, we're going to go 2 plays similar to what we did with Whittington last Thursday. I'm going to do Wan'Dale Robinson 5+ receptions, -145. Shop around, you'll be able to find it at one spot. A lot of places have it at -150, -155, but you can find that -145. I also like his receiving yards, 42.5 at -110. I'm more so on the receptions. Again, both of these are 1-unit plays, but because they throw a lot of short stuff. Jackson Dart's not airing it down the field, so I don't know if we see the heavy hitter like we saw in the first 3 weeks with him when he was playing with Russ, because he was going over his number regularly then. Now it's been down a little bit, a lot of screens, a lot of short passes, trying to get him to break some tackles. And the Phillies tackle, or I said the Eagles tackle well, and the Eagles are also good against slot wide receivers, which he's running about 65% of his snaps from. So I do think Philadelphia is pretty good with him, but I think he catches enough passes. When you look at you're already without Malik Neighbors. Slayton's out now. Like, is Bo Collins really going to do something? An undrafted free agent from Clemson? I can't buy that. So I do think Wan'Dale Robinson, the second-round pick from a few years ago, is targeted early and often in this game. We'll see him again in 4th and short, but I do like him to have some big plays here in this game.
I've got 2 plays on a giant as well. It is a different giant. It is Jackson Dart. They're setting this around 34.5. I like playing it at 40 for plus money. He's obviously started 2 games. He went 10 for 54 with a tutty and 7 for 55. This Fangio defense hasn't faced many quarterbacks who are going to run. I mean, Dak, he don't want to do it. Stafford doesn't do it at all. They faced Baker. He was really beat up. Not that he runs a lot, but he didn't do it at all. Mahomes 7 for 66 and a touchdown. And going back and looking at some of that, I feel like that's how the Giants are going to sustain drives. And it's a short week with a rookie quarterback who's losing wide receivers. You probably have to keep the main thing. And the way that they've stayed in games and sustained drives, including against a really good Chargers defense, with Jesse Minter running it, no slouch, was to activate this kid's legs early in games. And it's not like the Eagles won't know it's coming, but it's not going to shock me if the kid has double-digit carries in this game. And he's explosive enough and elusive enough that, I think a couple of them probably go for more than 10 yards. And I don't even know that Fangio's that worried about it. I mean, he just needs to keep him out of the end zone. Does he think Jackson Dart's going to be able to pierce this defense with nobody to throw the ball to in the red zone? Probably not. It's a big primetime spot for this kid. I think he'll be amped up, default to the legs. We also are sprinkling a half unit on him to get to the 50 mark. Hello, Choppy. Miss you. At plus 210. Again, he's done this in both of his starts. And I expect his legs to be a big deal tonight. Second down, Beltway Ben.
Yeah, second down. We are going to go to a familiar face in this show, especially for me today a lot. I just, again, like we attack games, we go at it certain ways, and there's a lot of times when we have a lot of plays, we try to keep it, with the same thing because that's what our expectation is. Saquon Barkley to rush for 100+ yards. We gave him out at 80.5 on Monday or Tuesday when the injury report still, was a little bit worse for him. I still think he's fine. He's questionable. I think he's going to play, and I think he'll have no restraints. Yeah. We haven't seen him do this yet this year, and it's been kind of surprising because given what he did last year, going over it 10 times, and doing it regularly. He also did it on the road against the Giants where he only had 17 carries but ran for 176 yards. I know the offensive line's a little banged up and isn't what it was last year, but Saquon Barkley is going to have a chip on his shoulder here. I talked about it 2 days ago. Everybody's talking about, maybe he was going to say. And he came out and put that quote out. The Giants fans are going to be booing him. We know how New York fans are. I do think he has a ton of carries tonight, and I think he goes over. Am I somewhat buying that they're going to be throwing the football a little bit? Maybe because they're trying to kind of put that out. They had the meeting, and Barkley was a part of that. Yeah. This guy played here, and they also know to win the game isn't to chuck the football 50 times. They didn't run the ball enough last week against the Broncos and end up losing that game and blowing it the way they did. I don't think they make that mistake here. If he goes over 80.5, we have a 20-yard cushion to get there. His number is 86.5, and we're getting it up to plus 190. I know we finished with 88 earlier in the year and hasn't got to 100 yet. But again, I talk about it all the time. The due spot, this guy is going to break for 100 at some point. I think it comes tonight.
I like the Eagles in this game. I don't love the 7 or anything more than 7. It's a division game. I think it's low scoring, but I do think they can win the first half and win the game. And I was trying, most places you shop around, Eagles first half money line is somewhere between minus 225 and minus 240. And so I tried to find different ways to sort of, okay, well, what would I play off of that to try to get plus money? And then finally, I'm just like, are they going to lose this game to Jackson Dart and a beat up Giants team? And I don't think so. So I like the value here. Why do I like the first half so much? Well, the Giants in their last 11 home games going back to last season have scored 72 total points in the first half of those games. That's 31st in the NFL. Do they get that humming and cranking against Fangio in a short week with a rookie quarterback? I doubt it. They've also allowed 153 points in the first half of those 11 games. That's 30th in the NFL. They've got a minus 81 first half point differential at home since the start of last season. That's second worst in the NFL. Philadelphia on the road since the start of last season, plus 32 scoring differential, not astronomical, but they've been very solid. And I think in a short week, it benefits the more experienced team and the better team. And this travel is nothing. This is a 1-hour train ride. This isn't even really travel. And then for the game, I just don't think the Eagles F this thing up. I think they're able to play with the lead. I think they're able to run the ball, like you said. I think they're able to get multiple rushing touchdowns against a bad rushing defense and sort of mitigate risk. But I don't think they boat race the Giants. I respect the Giants defense. And I think they might be able to get after Hurts a little bit with a beat up offensive line, which again makes me think a run script might be the way. What run script keeps the clock going, limits possessions, leads to an under game. Third down, Beltway Ben.
Yes, third down, we're going to go right back to Saquon. And I was going to do this in fourth and short, but there's so many different fourth and short plays that I like. Well, multiple ones that we're going to end up giving out. So I just went with his longest rush over 17 and a half yards. Did this in 13 of 17 games last year, or 13 of 16, I think, because he didn't even play the full 17. They didn't need him to. I don't see how the guy doesn't do this tonight. When you look at what he's done this year, he hasn't gone over it yet, which is why it's kind of shocking.
Yeah.
You see it. Did it 13 times last season. And again, we can talk about the offensive line being banged up and stuff. But Saquon Barkley is quicker than a lot of running backs. He gets to that second level fast. And once he's there, these guys cannot tackle him. We know that. We've seen it before. And last time he faced them, his longest carry was 55 yards. The chip on shoulder, we talked about it. I'll talk about it again. This is an ugly situation. It's not one of the pretty breakups. It's not one of the, kept under the rug breakups. The Hard Knocks didn't help anything on either side with all of that stuff coming out, the conversation, what was said. I do think he's going to, come out and have a big night. And if he does, he's going to have to go over his longest rush. If he rushes for 100 yards, he'll go over it. And I think everything that I'm playing with Saquon Barkley is around each other. Like if he's going to do these things, he's going to go over all of them. So I do like him to go over his longest rush of 17 and a half yards.
Third down, we are attacking a game we've been attacking all week. I've got two parlays that I've played here. Look, Rams are coming off extreme rest. The Rams are viewing this as a must-win type game. Baltimore is a bottom 3 defense in the NFL. Baltimore's allowed 13 passing touchdowns, most in the NFL. Opposing quarterbacks have a passer rating of like 110 on the Ravens. They brought 2 new safeties into their building. That's how jacked up they are in the secondary. And the secondary was allegedly the strength of the team. Like they're down multiple corners and they've got no pass rush to speak of. You give Stafford time, what does he do? He kills you. Baltimore, dead last in the NFL in sack percentage, and they just traded a alleged pass rusher in Odafe Oweh to get back a safety. And Baltimore, third worst pressure rate in the NFL. Stafford, leading the league in passing yards. He's averaging over 300 a game. If they didn't take their foot off the gas a couple times in some of these games, those numbers would be even higher. Over 1,500 passing yards. Nakua and Adams, unstoppable basically when he throws to them. A terrible secondary. Even if this gets out of hand, I think 250 is a reasonable number because I don't think the Rams are stopping until they're into the mid-30s. Doesn't matter how much or how little Baltimore's doing. They've got to get themselves back righted and show that this offense can hum along for 4 quarters. We saw Stroud go over this stuff in just 3 quarters last week, and that's nothing like the Rams offense. We've got another one here that we played also that bring some of the receivers into the fold. Again, we're very comfortable with that 27.5 number. Did you free? I think did I lose you, Ben?
My
I
hair.
thought you might have froze up. The other one I have there with
I'm
Nacua.
trying to get it. It's like
Oh, okay, no worries.
on
No
my
worries.
screen.
It's pretty simple. It's the same thing. It's similar to this. We think the Rams are scoring at least 28 points on a team that's allowed 177 points, most in the NFL. This one has Stafford throwing 3 touchdowns. Uh-oh. Oh man, now you can see my janky background. Well, I guess we're still live, so I'll keep going. So this one has Stafford throwing 3 touchdowns instead of 2. Again, the Ravens have already given up 13 passing touchdowns. Nacua is on pace to shatter everything that Cooper Kupp did a couple years ago. He's going over 100 against everybody. We're going 80, and we're taking Adams down to 40. Could they run for touchdowns on the Ravens? They could. There are no guarantees, but 3 is a reasonable number for me, given the state of affairs and given the fact that the Rams just lost the game they should have won because their running backs fumbled away possessions and fumbled away points. 4th and whatever, Beltway Ben.
Yeah, sorry, we cut out.
Oh,
there.
you're good, dude. All good.
It wouldn't click it. I knew we were in trouble once it wouldn't let me change the graphic. But 4th and short here.
We're getting
playing
new stuff, allegedly.
I did get a little bit of update on it.
Okay.
4th and short, Saquon Barkley over 42.5 first half rushing yards, minus 112. And then we are also playing Wan'Dale Robinson over 6.5 first quarter. First quarter receiving yards, not first half. First quarter receiving yards at minus 110. I'll start on this first because I've already kind of beat the dead horse with Barkley. I think Barkley's going to have a big day. It's going to have to start from the beginning. They don't want to play from behind. You don't want to come out of the gates chucking the football with Jalen Hurts. I don't think that's the recipe for winning. And I think Barkley's going to get it started early and often. Wan'Dale Robinson, 6.5 first quarter receiving yards. Why do I like that? He's the guy. I've talked about it. Bo Collins is the other wide receiver out there. They'll have some Jalen Hyatt. They hope that finally will turn out. I'm not buying any of that. I think Jackson Dart, it's going to be easy throws for screens. And to the point earlier, I don't know that he catches a lot of long ones, but this, to me, he could have two catches in the first quarter, 4 yards on one of them and 3 on the other, and we cash this. Or he could just catch a screen and take it for 7. I think he goes over it there first quarter. I think this is a fair price because 5 plus was 170. I think if he gets 5, he gets 7. So I do like him in the first quarter to go over 6.5 receiving yards.
I am playing a 4th and short. We are going to take the Giants to punt on their first drive. Now, look, I realize they've scored touchdowns on their opening drive, both games with Dart as the starter. They've also benefited from some serious field position in those games as well. And this is a little different assignment tonight, going against the Super Bowl champs at home in prime time. I expect Sirianni to be willing to play a field position game. Giants kicking game. Again, just Google Giants kickers. They've gone into games without kickers. I don't think there's a whole lot of trust there. I'm not as worried about being burned by a 60-yarder here as I am in a lot of other games. And I readily admit kicking stuff and blocks none of that stuff's going in my favor. So I do have bad luck lately when it comes to that stuff. But I just think Fangio is going to throw some looks at this kid that confuse him. I think it's going to be a jump up in weight class. And I think Brian Daboll's got to get this kid through this game and be a little bit of smart about he approaches it and be willing to play a field position game. They've got all these pass rushers. Those dudes need to earn their paychecks or earn their draft status. So for minus 135, I believe there's value in Giants punting first possession. Overtime, Ben.
Yeah, overtime. We gave out a fine parlay yesterday, so I did want to give us some big plus money here. As I'm going to try to do a little bit, just taking stuff up. We did it on Sunday at cash for us. If we can hit one of these every few times, it's very profitable. Saquon Barkley, 100 plus rushing yards. I gave that out before. It's plus money. I also like him to score a touchdown. Those two combined, and Wan'Dale Robinson, 1 over. Some places his number's 5.5. I got it at 4.5. It's what we gave it to you at. But I think he has a ton of catches. I think it's a lot of screens. I think when we do see Dart throwing the football, it's easy throws to Robinson saying, please make a play. Please go do something. Turn something out. So six receptions, it's not out of the picture for me. I think we're getting very good value. If Barkley goes over the 100, what EK always talks about telling a story. You want to tell your story in your parlay. I mean, if Barkley rushes for 100+ yards, he should find himself in the end zone at some point. And if they're playing from behind, the Giants are. How does Rondale Robinson not catch a lot of passes?
Yeah.
So we'll tell a story here. It always makes me laugh when he says that.
I like that story.
Here. I do. Yeah, I want
when
that.
that story cashes. That's
very good
that becomes
story.
an all-time favorite. I don't do nearly as much reading anymore as I should, but I hopefully we will read a winning ticket on this one. I don't know if I gave it out. The Stafford 3 touchdown prop, you can get at plus 350. Anyway, so I'm just letting you guys know. So yeah, I'm going more conservative here. Eagles, we know I'm on them to win this game. I don't know about covering. The Giants have had issues keeping people from scoring. While I think it's a low-scoring game, the Eagles getting to 20 points. They've scored 20 or more pretty much the last 2 years. And again, they've also won, 19 of the last 20 games that their quarterback starts and finishes. So I felt like those were conservative baselines. And then Dart, we think he could go for 50 tonight. 25, even if they're playing from behind, it means he's dropping back. He doesn't like what he sees. Like if it gets to be a pass script at some point, which I think it will, that opens up the legs for scrambles. And I think there'll be some design runs in there as well. And I think Fangio can live with some of that stuff. So for a little bit of plus money, that's where we are. Ben, show everybody how your heater is continuing. There you go. So we're bumping up against 50 units again. And we want to hit new thresholds here. We launched this show May 21st. We've really enjoyed doing it. Trying to build a smart betting community here. We appreciate you guys tuning in. That Super Discord gets you all access to all of our bets that we make in real time. And I think noon tomorrow, Betway, Ben?
Yep. Should be good for noon.
Regular time tomorrow. And I don't have to do anything super early on Saturday. So there we go. Hopefully we get the weekend off to a great start. You want to bet, we want to bet. Thank you for betting with us. We will talk to you guys tomorrow at noon Eastern.